If you're over 60, there's a good chance your retirement plan is still stuck in your working years. You've been taught to save, grow, and delay gratification, but what happens when it's finally time to shift gears and start living off of what you've built? Here's the truth. The habits that helped you build wealth in your 40s and 50s could be the same ones that destroy your peace of mind in your 60s and beyond. I've worked with hundreds of people near or in retirement, and I've seen the same 5 mistakes over and over and over, most of them made by smart, successful people. So in this video, we're gonna talk about 5 things you need to stop doing after the age of 60 if you want to retire confidently, protect your lifestyle, and actually enjoy the freedom that you've earned. Hi, I'm Mark Wisniewski, president of Southern Incomes. I help individuals and families across the country build customized retirement income plans designed to help their money last and their stress go away. And over the years, I've seen one pattern again and again. The people who struggle the most in retirement are usually doing the things that they should have let go of years ago. So let's talk about what to stop doing so you can start living. Number 1, stop chasing the highest investment return. When you're younger, it makes sense to focus on growing your money as aggressively as possible. You've got time on your side, and if the market takes a dip, you can ride it out. But once you're over 60, the game changes and the risks get higher. Now, you're not just growing your money, you're living off of it, and that changes everything. Yet, I still see people at or near retirement obsessing over which fund performed the best last quarter, trying to pick the next hot stock. The goal becomes chasing the highest return instead of building the most reliable income. That's a huge mistake. Why? Because sequence of return risk becomes a major threat in retirement. That's the risk of withdrawing money during a market downturn early in retirement, and it can completely derail your financial plan. So say if you lose 20% of your portfolio at age 65 and still need to pull income from it, that loss gets locked in, and your money has to work harder to recover, but now there's less of it. So what should you do instead? Start thinking like a retiree, not an investor. Shift your focus from how much can I make to how much can I reliably withdraw year after year without running out. It's not about swinging for the fences anymore. It's about creating a strategy that generates consistent income, preserves your principal, and it gives you peace of mind no matter what the market does. That's how the wealthy stay wealthy. They stop chasing returns and start protecting their income. 2, stop hoarding too much cash. It's completely natural to want a cushion in retirement. After all, you're no longer earning a paycheck, and having that cash in the bank feels safe. But there's a big difference between a healthy emergency fund and letting fear convince you to sit on hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash. And I see it all the time. Clients come in with $250,000 in cash or even more sitting in a checking or savings account earning next to nothing, and they think that they're being conservative. But in reality, they're falling behind slowly and silently because of inflation. At 3 to 4% inflation, that pile of cash is losing thousands of dollars of purchasing power every year. Over a 10-year retirement span, that can mean tens of thousands of dollars lost by just doing nothing. The money feels safe, but it's quietly shrinking. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't keep any cash. You absolutely should, but it should be intentional. Here's a smarter way to think about it. You have an emergency fund. That's 6 to 12 months of living expenses, depending on your comfort level. Maybe you have a cash buffer. That's another year or 2 of spending needs in cash or short-term instruments if you're drawing from investments. Beyond that, it should be working for you, either generating income, growing for the future, or helping you offset taxes. Retirement is all about balance. You want to have access to cash, yes, but you also want to protect your purchasing power and make sure that your dollars last as long as you do. Don't let excess cash sit idle. Give every dollar a purpose. 3, stop delaying important decisions. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make in their 60s is waiting. Waiting to file for Social Security, waiting to meet with an advisor, waiting to do tax planning, waiting to create an estate plan, waiting until they feel ready. But here's the problem. Time doesn't wait for you, and neither do financial consequences of indecision. At this stage in life, every year you delay making key retirement decisions could cost you you more in taxes and lost income and missed opportunities than you realize. Let's take Social Security as an example. If you wait too long to run your numbers, you may file too early or even too late and lock yourself into permanent reduction in income. Or what about Roth conversions? These are best done in your 60s before required minimum distributions or RMDs begin. Wait too long and you lose flexibility to reduce your future tax burden. Estate planning? You might be mentally sharp now, but the window to make clear, confident decisions doesn't last forever. A sudden health event can take away your control in an instant and leave your family scrambling. And if you're thinking, well, I'll deal with this next year, ask yourself, have you been saying that for the past 3 or 4 years already? It's not about being perfect. It's about being proactive. Your 60s are the most powerful planning years. You have access to your retirement account. You might still be working, and you haven't hit RMDs or Medicare IRM AA yet. So you have options, but only if you act. Stop delaying. The best time to plan was yesterday. The second best time, today. Number 4, stop thinking you'll just figure it out later. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this. I'll just deal with it when we get there. We'll figure it out as we go. Or it can't be that complicated, can it be? But here's the hard truth. Retirement isn't just a time to wing it. You're entering one of the most complex financial chapters of your life, and the difference between having a plan and trying to figure it out could mean sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you've saved up $1 million for retirement. Without a clear withdrawal strategy, you might start pulling from the wrong account in the wrong order at the wrong time, triggering higher taxes, Medicare premium hikes, or even pushing yourself into a higher capital gains bracket. Or you skip creating a formal income plan and end up drawing too much, too fast, leaving you short in your 80s and 90s when your healthcare costs are going to start to surge. Even worse, without proper estate planning, your money could be tied up in probate for months or years, creating stress and maybe even conflict between your loved ones. This doesn't just happen to people who are careless. It happens to people who simply waited too long to get organized. You don't need to become a financial expert, but you need to be honest with yourself. Do I know where my income will come from, and how long will it last? Do I have a tax strategy that protects me and my heirs? Have I coordinated my investments with my income, Social Security, and RMDs? Have I stress tested my plan for market downturns, inflation, and health events? If you can't answer yes to those questions, don't wait. You can't afford to. Retirement is the reward for decades of hard work. It shouldn't feel like a second job or a guessing game. Get a plan in place now, while you still have full control and flexibility. Number 5, stop trying to do it all yourself. You've always been the one in charge of your career and your finances and your family. Maybe you've done your own taxes for decades, manage your 401k, and you read every article that you could get your hands on. That's admirable, but retirement, it's a different game. And it's a game where the rules are constantly changing. And trying to go it alone from here on out could cost you far more than a fee of working with someone who's experienced. Let's be real. Retirement today involves Social Security timing strategies, complex tax planning, required minimum distribution, investment risk management, healthcare costs, Medicare, estate planning, and more. It's not just about managing money, it's about coordinating multiple pieces of your financial life in a way that protects your lifestyle for decades to come. Even the most financially savvy people make mistakes when they try to do it alone. Why? Because you're emotionally tied to your money, and it's hard to see your own blind spots. And it's nearly impossible to stay on top of every tax law, policy change, and strategy that could save or cost you thousands. Think of it like this. You wouldn't perform surgery on yourself because you've watched some YouTube videos. Retirement is financial surgery, and the stakes, they're just as high. Working with a fiduciary advisor means you have someone running the math for you, not just selling you products. And you get a clear income and tax plan, not just a pile of statements on your desk. And you have a sounding board when the markets get volatile and your emotions run high. This isn't about giving up control. It's about partnering with someone who can help you make more confident, informed decisions so that you can enjoy retirement without second-guessing every move. You did the hard work to earn this money. Now it's time to make it work for you with the right plan and the right people by your side. Retirement isn't just about stopping work, it's a shifting in your mindset. If you're over 60, this is your window to protect what you've built and make the most of what you've saved and start designing the lifestyle that you actually want. But to do that, you have to stop operating on autopilot. You have to stop doing what worked in your 40s and 50s and start doing what works now. Stop chasing high returns. Stop hoarding too much cash. Stop delaying the important stuff. Stop thinking that you'll figure it out later, and stop trying to do it all yourself. Start building a plan that you actually trust. If you're ready to simplify your retirement strategy and get clarity on your next steps, book a free retirement planning call with my team at Southern Incomes. We'll help you build a plan that gives you confidence for life.